Welcome to another episode of Scared Shitless. My name is Sarah Semajust and I am your host. Today I have a very special guest, Monica Susin, and who's joining me today to have a really candid conversation about just your path. Monica is, I know her as a real estate investor, but prior to being a real estate investor, she's lived many lives, I feel.
I want to live many more.
So she was a horseback riding coach and trainer, yes. And now you're gonna do a mindset and financial coach business, and yes. I think that's something that that's in your future. On top of real estate investing, I guess a branch of real estate investing, you're also an Airbnb host.
Yes.
And I feel like we've connected a lot through
those adventures.
Those
misadventures.
I think that's what we need to call it, misadventures of Airbnb hosts.
Yes.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So I want to kind of hear from you who you are. So maybe you can first and foremost tell the viewers like how you view yourself.
How I view myself? I am someone who thrives in connecting deeply with the people around me. I'm not good at the surface level. I think I can make people laugh in the day-to-day chit-chat and the small talk. I've perfected it over the years and given it my own style, but I really get energy and thrive off of connecting and getting to know the person in front of me. So what makes them tick, what motivates them, what's their fears, what's their story, that's behind everything, that's the passion. And so when I started off with animals, because for me it was much easier to connect with dogs, horses, you name it. I was trying to connect with it and influence its behavior in some way back then, but behind that it was really just the understanding of what's going on in another being's psyche.
Like the psychology of it.
Yeah.
And as a coach, were you teaching more children, adults, both? Both.
Very different teaching children than adults.
Okay. How so? I mean, I think I have an idea, but is there something specific?
Well, and I'd love to hear your take. And then very different teaching boys versus little girls versus little boys, or women versus men.
Okay.
I found a lot of differences there too. But the basic thing between kids and adults that I found is adults, you would need to explain. So explain the technique and then explain the why behind the technique and what you're trying to teach, and kind of put all those blocks in place and then go into practice.
Okay.
Whereas children, you're going to lose them on that explanation.
Right.
It has to be very basic. One word is best. And then you're just creating some kind of game, if you can, around whatever you're trying to get them to practice.
Okay. The people who take horseback riding lessons, because I know there's like therapy in that.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, I actually explored that when I was 18, 19.
Okay.
I was wondering if it was a branch that I'd want to go along. Okay. So I actually did work a summer with a riding school that did equestrian equine therapy, what they call it.
Okay. And is it for kids who have delays or auto-regulation difficulties, or people, I should say, or who is it for, that type of therapy?
There is all kinds. I can say in that brief summer, it was anything from children on the spectrum that had extreme difficulty in communication to adults with schizophrenia, or like heavier mental health diagnoses that are causing difficulties in their day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. And some very memorable stories about that. It was very impactful for me because I needed to make that decision. Is this something I want to pursue, or do I want to work in a different way?
And what led to the decision that you made?
There's actually a very, very defining moment. There was this young child on the spectrum, a young boy, and he was I'd seen him all summer long on a one-on-one with a teacher. And the whole point, from my understanding of his growth, was to get him to speak. So the idea was to, I remember the horse's name was Snoopy. He was such a sweetheart.
Okay.
But it was like asking Snoopy to walk, like Snoopy walk or Snoopy trot. And the boy just, honestly, it felt like he couldn't care less about what was going on.
Motivated for him.
But no. But on this farm, the owner also had a passion for dogs.
Okay.
And so from time to time, she would have dogs that were kenneled at the facility. And me, as a working student, would sometimes take care of, like, I'd pick up any part of the task that needed help. And from time to time, it'd be the dogs. And I love dogs as much as I love the horses. It's different, but anyways. So there was this dog, bright, gorgeous, berger, oh my God, I'm forgetting it. Berger, pas malinois, but berger belge, a Belgian herding dog.
Okay, I was gonna say I can't really help you because I don't know anything about breeds.
I know them. I know them by heart. I like studied them as a kid. I was like, I don't know, I was all over it. Very intelligent dog, and this one was super well trained. And the name of this dog was 3 long syllables with rolling R's. Baraka. It's not an easy one.
No, not at all.
Just that's not easy to say. So I'd taken the dog out, and it just so happened that the boy was around, and the parents were talking further away with the instructor. And we still had the jumps up with the horses, and I'd kind of lowered them, and I was like, oh, I'll take the dog out and play around with the jumps. And oh my God, that little boy got right into it. His eyes were lit up like globes. And I would say, like, baraka, salt, like, baraka, go jump.
Right.
And then this little boy, with all his concentration, was like, baraka, salt. So it was, I'm gonna tear up. It was his love for this dog that was getting him to speak. So me, I'm like, what am I gonna do with this information? Like, I'm gonna go and say, you know, this kid, get him away from the horse. Right. Go bring him to the dog. Like, go.
Technically.
Go. So I didn't say that to, I'm a working student, but I knew in that moment that I was, and this is also limiting belief, right? Like, now I look back at that young self of who I was then, and I'm like, if I'd had somebody around me that would have been able to bring me elsewhere, I'll explain myself in a more chronological fashion. So in that moment, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to be forever sending people elsewhere. Right. I need grants. I need students. I can't be sending them elsewhere every time I think that this is not like the perfect fit. Yes. Yeah. So that's where my brain went, and that was like, okay, no, I want to push mine, like, the psychology further. I want to have that, like, really feeding me. And if I don't have students that are really passionate, whatever their situation, I don't want it. Like, that interaction with the boy and the dog, that was exhilarating, right? That we could build off of it. And I wanted all my experiences to be unto that. So, and I did research afterwards, and I'd found another child on the autism spectrum. His mom had been so perseverant. He... I think he did like equine therapy, dogs, farm animals. Like, he went through everything you could imagine. And he was regressing and shutting down. And like, you want to know what did it for him?
What was it?
Dolphins.
Dolphins? So
dolphins.
Like, they have to move to the coast? Like,
she was like, last ditch effort kind of thing, go on a trip, find a place, and like within a very short span caught up all the years left off. And I mean, that story still gives me chills. Like, I was like, I can't do it. And it's still me today. Like, in whatever I'm doing, like, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm like, yes, but have you thought of this, and this? And I'd rather redirect than...
You know what? That story, is very true. Like, I don't know if you know, but I'm a speech language pathologist by trade. I think I was just telling you about this.
I just learned this about you.
Okay.
I would love to hear more about it because I've gone through my own speech therapy when I was a kid, and like I went through it again as an adult later on.
No way.
But that's a really, and I loved my speech therapist when I was a kid.
Well, they're supposed to be fun. So
she was so much fun.
She's doing her job. That's it. You want a kid to love you so they can come back.
I
Right?
absolutely loved her.
Because for kids, essentially, you're coming here to play. Like, we practice words,
Yep.
but we play,
Yep.
right? And I remember I used to work for, I'm not going to say it, but I used to work for an organization, and there was a child specifically. The mom would request that we not see the child in the clinic. We see the child at her home, because just the trip to the clinic, tantrums, I just overstimulated, like just getting him there was like an ordeal.
Yeah.
And then going back was an ordeal. Even though they lived like 15 minutes away, it took like an hour getting him dressed, getting him in the car. And we did end up seeing the child at her home. I did, it was approved for me to go to the homes and do the sessions, although it wasn't as frequent as if she was coming to the clinic. That child, it was night and day. I did not recognize the child. And I was like, oh my God, there's not one size fits all, right? We can't decide, well, everybody has to come to the clinic, because that child has so much more potential if you see him in his environment. And so that really made me see that, every child obviously is different. I knew that, but you need to adapt to them, right? Here in my own practice, I have way more freedom. I used to see a child at the park. I used to tell the parents, I would ask the parents, what does he like? Movement. Let's go to the park. Yeah. So we just go to the park, and that's why you do my therapy. 1, 2, 3, go. Where go was his first words, because he loves sliding, right? Whereas if
you're giving me the chills. That's the stuff of life. You ask me who I am, that's what I live for. Those moments.
Exactly. And you can kind of find that in like different aspects of your life, whether it's like
all the
through
time.
finances, whether it's through horseback riding coaching, or
I think the buzzword nowadays is like authenticity.
Yes.
Like, but life should be authentic.
100%. And I think like a lot of people, they like to help, and like the context doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's
100%.
just okay. Well, if it's through a child who has autism that you're trying to help speak, a person who's in financial trouble or needs advice, and they need to better their financial
freshly divorced, now single mother, 2 kids, trying to figure out how they're gonna pay for college.
Exactly.
Like, a boyfriend did whatever and is bankrupt, and she still had her name on credit. Like, these are stories that are real lives.
100%.
And very frequent, even though they don't get talked about.
That's exactly, and actually I never even thought about those, because that's not something I've seen. So let's this is a perfect segue to how you got into the financial world after horseback riding.
Like, what did you do?
Yes. How did this transition?
The transition actually came from Equine College, because prior to Equine College, I had been extremely far and deep into the sciences. Okay. So chemistry, biology, physics, I was down that path hard. Money, it's like, yes, I need this, I'm working, I'm putting it away, leave me alone. Mm-hmm. And when I hit the Equine College School, we had a lot of classes on business and accounting, and one part that I found really cool was how to analyze the health of the business that you'd want to acquire, or if you're in a business, how do you evaluate purchasing, say, one of the examples we had is, okay, you want to buy a new tractor for your farm. Okay. And this tractor is going to alleviate X amount of hours and potential personnel and help you do things X amount more efficiently. But it's going to cost this much, and you're going to be amortizing it over this many years. Well, what's the benefit? What is it? Is it truly a good purchase or not? Right. And the health of the business part, calculating the ratios of before you want to buy, I just tripped out. I'm like, wait a minute, like there's healthy ratios for something. Like I got really geeky on this. I was like, ooh, if this exists, and where my thoughts went is like, if this exists for this, well, does it exist for me personally?
Okay.
And I went down that rabbit hole on my personal time hard. Hard and for many years.
Just analyzing different...
Yeah, just like looking up different aspects about personal finance, really honing into trying to understand this. Money at its source is something very basic. Like go back to why money exists. Well, before money, it was exchange so I have crop and I can sell you crop at the end of the year, but maybe I need, something else right now that you have that I'll pay you later.
Right,
and
yes.
So the whole paying you later became that source, like at the beginning that you're financing, but after that you have the money to represent these objects. And then since then, our systems just got more and more complicated, right? But I find it's an interesting reflection on our values as a society and our values as the world, because we have so many things in place. People tend to complain, but we forget all the reasons behind the different pieces. I'm in a really interesting course right now. It's the history of financial crisis.
Oh.
And I'm still at like the Roman times.
You got a lot of time to go.
A lot of time to go. But yes, I did discover healthy ratios for personal finance.
Okay.
And it's actually one of the baselines that I teach, because no matter how much money you make, understanding how much you can put away and what you can do with that money, when you understand the ratios, that simplifies things greatly.
Okay. So, I mean, I feel like the answer is going to be, it depends. But what's a healthy ratio? Like, can you give me an
100%,
example?
100%.
Okay.
So I'll give one that's super important and can quickly create disaster in your finances. When you're looking at your net income, so the money that's in, we'll keep it simple. The money that goes into your bank account off your paycheck.
Right.
You ideally, to live comfortably, don't want to exceed 35% towards housing costs.
Okay. Does that include property taxes?
It does.
Okay. Well, we're shit out of luck in Ottawa.
Property tax, insurance, mortgage or rent.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking, okay, this is a healthy ratio, it is a challenge for people right
100%,
now.
100%.
But you can get creative with it as well.
Of course. And I think you and I both know several different ways to get creative.
Yes.
Is that how you got into the short-term rental / Airbnb, as most people know?
Well, for me, looking at what I need right now in my life,
100%.
I need that to make sense for me, 100%. And for me, the income that Airbnb's short-term rentals bring in is the pivotal, like the reason why I decided to go that route.
Okay. I'm gonna jump into the Airbnb world because there's so much, and I think our viewers or listeners are gonna find a lot of value in that. So first of all, what are you Airbnb-ing? So is it a bedrooms, single house, apartment? What do you have on the market right now?
So right now I have single bedroom and I have also an apartment.
Okay. Cool.
So I have both.
And are you doing arbitrage or are those units that you own and that you're renting out?
No, at this moment exactly, it's units that I own. I've done it in places where I've rented it as well, but right now it's places that I own.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I'm on my 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I started sooner.
You know
when
what?
you finally pull that plug, it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? I don't know if I've told anyone this besides like very immediate close people. I had actually prepped and had everything prepped for 2020, for over 2 years.
And then you only launched it 2 years later. That's crazy.
So when my back was up against the wall, right?
You had no choice.
Like, it was like,
I need to do something about this.
Yes.
I hear you.
But the room was decorated, everything, like it was always pristine.
So who was living there?
Nobody.
It was vacant?
Nobody. Well, I
Oh.
mean, I was starting with a room back
Right.
then, but like, but there was so much fear. Like even to this day, my family, is not something I can share very much about because it's like, it's dangerous. Like, what are you doing? Like this, you know.
How do you handle that? Like, you know, from your family who may not understand what you're doing or the benefit. I obviously there's risks, but there's also lots.
There's risk in everything.
Exactly. So
you gotta choose.
How do you deal with that mindset?
Depends on how much energy I have.
Okay.
I have to say that where it is now is I avoid the subject at almost all costs.
You know what? And that's one way to do it. It's like we're not gonna go back and forth in something you're gonna disagree and I'm gonna disagree and you're not gonna understand. Let's just talk about baking cookies.
Exactly. And there's been very polite moments where I know it's coming out of like the best of intentions, but you know, I've had to say, well, you know, I understand that that's your point of view, but this has actually helped me through moments where I've been, because in the last 3 years, I've had moments where I've not been able to function and uphold my regular things. So this money actually kept me afloat during these periods of time,
100%.
even if it was at the very beginning. So I'm like, if I wouldn't have had this, I would have, you know, been in a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, that passive income, as much as it's not so super passive, but that
it's still a functioning system.
Exactly.
It's still a functioning system that you can pull away from.
You could still be away and there's money coming into your bank account. You don't have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a short little story because you said you took 2 years to action this.
It's embarrassing.
When I first heard about this Airbnb thing, actually I heard it from my brother-in-law who was doing several Airbnbs.
That's awesome.
In Toronto.
That's awesome.
When he told me about it, I was like, you do what? He's like, yeah, he was arbitraging. So he's like, oh, you could rent from someone else, post it on Airbnb, and then like, you know, you pay your rent and then the cash flow is yours. And I was like, I don't understand. This is like
you're cheating.
To me, it was like free money. And I was like, what are you talking about? Literally, I think he may have told me this, I don't know, let's say in November. And he had also told me that like the winter's not the best time to start. You know,
it's
like
slower.
Summer.
Yeah.
So I remember texting my sister. I was like, do you know about this? And she's like, no. So I literally text her a plan. And I'm like, this is what I plan on doing. In March, I'm going to look for an apartment. In April, I'm going to sign a lease. In May, I'm going to have it running. I'm going to take the furniture from this and this and this and this. And that little plan in that text message was executed to the T, and it was up and running.
Awesome.
I kind of got lucky because one of my
girl.
I feel like I was crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it, like what? Like my life was okay. Like I didn't need the extra income.
I didn't have a.
I was okay. It was pre-COVID. I was working 9 to 5, good salary. My husband was working as well.
But you're a go-getter. Like you've got a fire in you. Since I've met you, like we met at Sandbanks.
Yeah,
in
we have.
May 2022.
Oh my goodness.
And that was one of the things that caught my eye about you. You just have this like engine that's on fire, just like, and I feel like it's like self-combusting. I would have thought it would have been Leonard maybe, like at the beginning, like just seeing you guys, like, oh, and maybe that bias if it's gonna be the man. I'm like, oh, this girl.
I don't know, like, I guess from a young age, I'm like, but like, if I have an idea, I just don't understand why I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great thing. So many people don't have that.
I was like, but it works. Like I don't. And even I remember having this conversation with my mom and my dad at the time, and then, and you know, they were just my parents. I'm very open with them, and they were like, oh, you know, are you sure? Bouncing ideas, and I was just like, why wouldn't we? Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? And I launched it. I wasn't making that much money off of it, but still, like an extra maybe $500 to maybe $700 a month.
Still nice.
But I didn't have any systems. I was pretty much. I had a cleaner, but I was doing a lot of the check-ins myself, and you know, it wasn't fully systemized, so I wasn't fully like away from the it wasn't a business, from whatever I was doing. So it was a lot of work. So that's why I eventually shut it down, because I was like, I need to be better at this. But I'm very curious to know, like, you said you have 3 running right now. Is that correct? Or 3 separate listings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 at this time.
2 at this time. Okay. So, but in the past you've had several like running at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. How do you deal with having multiple at the same time? Because I'm assuming you're not checking in everyone.
God, no.
You're not
self-check-in.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay.
Self-check-in with cameras that are like, you can talk if ever something comes up.
Nice.
I chose not to do the Wi-Fi codes.
Okay.
They kind of, there's like plus and minuses with those.
I have Wi-Fi codes and non-Wi-Fi codes.
Well, you'd be able to speak to that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you keep going, and then maybe I'll give you a little bit of.
So I chose to just have, keypads that I could change manually as needed. Mm-hmm. And before I lived about 45 minutes away from where most was, and I had someone else that if something came up, they were 5 minutes away and could pop in.
Okay.
Something that was silly is like, some people arrive at the property and they just don't understand.
Enter the codes?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I've never had that before.
Sometimes I'd be able to get, to coach them through the camera, but I have to say, like, it happens at least 10 times a year, at least, of like, you go up to the property and they're like, we can't open the door, da da da, and you're like, dun 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 dun, and they're like, I'm so sorry.
Well,
it's okay.
Yeah. You're like, it's not, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Tell me your worst. I want to hear your worst guest story. Like,
I've had a few.
Okay.
I've had a few. I can tell you the weirdest one.
Okay.
The weirdest one. So I had, and this is not racist, this is just,
Go ahead.
This is just describing, it could have been 2 white couples, it could have been 2 white families. In this case, it was 2 black families.
Yeah.
And both had a woman, and the pictures are small.
Yeah, you can't, like, from that I can't tell you.
No, and they don't regulate, like, putting their face up like in other apps.
It could be like, it could be your back of your head.
It could be 4 people in the picture. And in this case, it was 2 families of 4.
Okay.
And same type of picture. And I'm going to make up the dates here, but one was like the weekend of the 24th, 25th. And so person texts me, the man calls or texts. I think he calls the day before. And he's like, hey, I just wanted to get the check-in information and the code and the address, and we're arriving tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm not going to give out that information. It's going to be in the app, and it's going to show up tomorrow through the app.
Right.
Because I at least had gone enough time, like I knew that was a security thing. Right? Up until then. The next day, I get called in the afternoon. So can you give me the information? Follow the instructions in the app. Everything's going to be there. So it's like 4 or 5 o'clock. He calls me. He's like, we're at the property.
The day of?
The day of.
Okay.
He calls me at the property. He's like, we're at the property. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just give me a moment. I'll pull up the cameras. Give me a moment.
Okay.
So I pull up the cameras. I see a family of 4. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I can't find the code. I don't know where it is. Like, can you please help me out? And I'm like, oh, okay.
So,
and I give him the code verbally.
So for context, what time is check-in?
For me, it's like between 4 and 10.
Okay.
But if people want to arrive later, I just tell them I might be in bed if you run into trouble. Like, I might not wake up.
Right.
And I mean, the guy that helps me manage,
Right.
He could wake. He's really good about waking up, like a million times better than me. Me, if I'm sleeping, I'm not waking up. but he hears the pings. I don't.
So he's
bomb can go off and I'm good. I'm not waking up.
Sleep outside if you go out.
Legit. I've told some people like this is where my bedroom window is. You can knock really hard, and I still might not get up. But I mean, I told you.
So he arrives within the time of check-in.
Yes.
Okay, and so the code was sent to him. He just didn't know how to access it.
That's what he's saying.
Okay, go on.
That's what he's saying. So, and I was leaving. This was like one of the first times where I was like taking a 3-day ski trip down to Massif. Mm-hmm. And I checked and I'd like gone to the Airbnb right after and made sure everything was good. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Everything's running, la la la. I go. Around 11 or 12 p.m., my phone starts blowing up. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm trying to figure out all these messages. I think it was past midnight. Anyways, I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I just had a lovely, lovely afternoon, evening. And I'm like, one saying that they can't get in and somebody else is in, and the other one's saying that and I'm like, what on earth? And then manager's calling me and he's like, there's people, and I'm like, what on earth is happening? It took me some time. Mm-hmm. So the actual person who had leased that night mm-hmm. and that weekend arrived around 11 p.m. and never communicated with me up till then.
Okay. So there was another person in the apartment.
Family of 4. But I had let in the other family of 4.
And they looked alike. You couldn't have known.
And again, they both had small pictures of like the whole family squished in the picture. I can't see the faces.
And you wouldn't like what? How would they even have your number and the address and know exactly that they're supposed to check like the other family? You know. So it is confusing as to how did this previous family who's not supposed to be there arrive at the time that another family was supposed to be there, and they happen to sort of like look alike, and there's also a family of 4.
Yes,
very creepy
with both young children. Like I was like, what are the odds? And so the manager, he's amazing. I've always, you know, when I talk about that human connection, when I work with people, I'm very picky because it's so important to me, and he is one of those people that I look up to. Like, and I've told him, like, he never gets angry, never. So he updated me. He was there. Mm-hmm. One's in her car, like has her kids in the back, and I mean, I feel for her. Like, your kids are tired.
Right.
You've had a long trip. The other one's refusing to come out. We've offered both, like we've offered to the other one, like, because he has other Airbnbs. So it's like, we have another place available, 2 bedrooms, similar, like we can put you up right now. She was not having it. She was not having it at all. He was not stepping out of the door.
Wow.
Like, he was not.
So he's getting a free stay. That family's getting a free stay technically because family B has already paid. What's going on?
100%. So it became, I think it was like 3 hours of all together sporadically trying to deal with this, because that night, like, the manager that helps me, he just said, like, she's gone, she's left. She talked to Airbnb, she's gone for a hotel. And I'm like, well, okay, at least.
Yeah.
And he's like, the other guy's in the property and doesn't want to hear reason, and I'm going back to bed.
Right.
And I'm like, legit. So the next morning, I'm trying to sort this out, and I'm having very tough conversation with the guy.
Right.
And Airbnb at the beginning, don't want to talk ill of Airbnb, but they've had some ups and downs in their service.
Yes,
I'm sure you've felt it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And at the beginning, they didn't want to compensate me at all. Like, they weren't looking for solutions. It was my fault that I let them in. And I was like, Mm-hmm.
Did you call the cops? Because I feel at this point they're trespassing.
I could have, but I didn't.
Okay.
That's, how should I say? If I can try, maybe I'm a little too bonasse, like a little too, but I really want to believe the good in people.
Right,
and it takes a lot for me to, like, you never know what somebody's living, right?
Right.
And she was taken care of, but him, I told him, I said, you're going to have to pay.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, it's okay, I can pay. And I was like, you're calling Airbnb now and you're paying. And anyways, that got sorted.
Okay.
And Airbnb, I had to tell them exactly what to do. Like, no, you're going to deduct his account now. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting penalized for this situation. Like, you're reimbursing one, that's fine. I'm not getting paid for her. Right. That's okay.
Yes.
I get that.
Yeah, but I need to get paid for this guy.
But he's paying. Yeah. He needs to pay. And you guys can put this on his file and do what you will. But that needs to happen. So they get that done, and I come back to speak to him, and he's like acting all gracious and thank you. And I said, no, I don't think you understand. You put another family, another mom and her kids in the situation at past 11 p.m. She doesn't have a place to stay, and she's burnt out and she's tired, and you're not even apologetic about what you did. Right. I truly feel like you did this on purpose.
Did you ever find out how they found out that this place was available and the address and your number even?
So my hypothesis on this, so the number, they have it.
How?
As soon as you make a reservation.
But they didn't reserve your spot.
Yes, they did a month later. So, it was very brilliant. Guys, don't do that ever, please. But he reserved a month later the same dates.
I see.
So I got confused.
Or July.
So like I'm seeing 24, 25 on his text. And same type of family photo.
Yes.
She's not messaging me. Had she messaged me,
confusing. Yeah.
I would have caught it.
Right.
But she wasn't messaging me.
I get it.
And back then I didn't yet have automatic messages asking people to respond to me. Now I have that in place. And now I will never give out the code over the phone or on the cameras.
Right.
Never.
Oh my goodness.
Like, my lessons learned.
Lesson learned. Don't give out the code.
But he did that. I'm 100% sure he did that on purpose.
Like, I'm going to text you the code through the app, through the Airbnb app. You're going to see it right away.
And if they're at the property, I ask them, show me the app.
Okay.
I want to see the app. Yeah. Show it to me, please. Thank you.
Good. Oh, goodness.
And they're like, no, it's you. You're Monica. No, please show me the app. You're not. Things happen, people. Show me the app. Thank you.
Do you find that running Airbnb?
But wait. Oh, okay. Like, this is how brilliant this dude was. Like, I can just imagine, like, your wife says, hey, everything good for the Airbnb this weekend? Oh, and then he realizes you forgot. And, last minute figures.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So he probably booked the wrong dates, and he wanted
but
me
on
here
purpose to get in that weekend.
Yeah. Oh my.
And the way he set it up with the calls ahead of time.
But he's also very lucky because there could have been already somebody there.
But he arrived like at 4.
No, but what I mean is that, like, let's say it was a Friday, he was supposed to check in. They could have been there like Thursday to.
Yeah, he did risk that.
Right?
You're right. Like, he did risk that.
Oh my goodness. So what gives you the courage to keep going with this nonsense? You're like, I don't know. The thrill of it all.
The human experiment. No, I don't. It makes good money.
Yeah.
It makes great money. And when I think about the other types of work I've done, this is a mental load light.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I would say the opposite. Man, not for the faint of heart. Like, I remember like having anxiety when I was the main person answering the messages. It depends what kind of property you have. Because I have to admit, I had a property on Airbnb that it wasn't like a 5-star, I felt. Like, it was more like a 4-star, 3.5, And mainly because the apartment itself was great, but the tenants upstairs were just
Horrible.
disruptive. You
Yeah.
know, very loud.
That's hard.
Never respecting the parking spaces.
Yeah.
It was
That's
shared
hard.
vents, so like lots of different smells of food. So you know that maybe you can't control. But yeah, cleanliness. So either way, like garbage everywhere. So it didn't make it like a really good experience for the guests, mainly because of that. And all the complaints were about, oh, the parking, you said to park here, but there's already somebody there. And I'm like, oh goodness, I gotta tell her to park somewhere else again. Oh, you know, like somebody at like 5 a.m. in the morning is like stomping upstairs. You know, things that I can't control.
No,
you
that's
know?
tough.
So I knew it. It was kind of it was a means to an end. Like I did need the income in order to upkeep the mortgage payments because the interest rates had increased, but that property was going to be destroyed eventually, demolished for another project.
Oh yeah,
but,
I remember that one.
Yeah, but you know, it was a great experience in the sense that I just learned to have a handyman, very handy all the time. Because
oh my god, stuff breaks. You got a 5-hour window to fix it. Like that's a regular.
And having a handyman will save your Airbnb. Just a text away. Obviously, you got to pay him, but maybe they go for $50. They give you the bill for whatever it costs, the material, and then that's it. And a really good cleaner as well.
That's like number one.
And your cleaner needs to have the eyes not just clean, but did anything break? Is anything missing? And I think that makes a difference with a cleaner, knowing exactly like what was at the property. Like I'm super detailed when I create like a checklist. And if any cleaner comes and tells me like it's not part of the duties, you're just not getting hired, because I need you as a cleaner. I'll pay you more. But as a cleaner, is you clean, but you also need to check like that plant that was there, is it still there?
Yeah.
You know, that microwave, I've had like coffee machines go missing, cushions, blankets.
Blankets, yes.
I haven't had irons, but you know, pillows.
Dishes.
So dishes is just, you just might as well buy a second set and put it in the storage because it's gonna go missing. So you definitely learn lots. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. When I say mental load light, maybe it'll be easier to understand that sense. So my horseback riding students and the people that I would help when it comes to financial advising, these are people that I would have a very, very deep connection with, and I would see on a regular enough basis. So I would be forever in problem solving mode for them and thinking of strategies and techniques. And so, I mean, I loved it, but it's always up in my head.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by like, okay, that's broken, I'll fix it.
Right. I'll call somebody and
it'll get done. Like it's not I need to think of how I'm going to explain something to you so and take care of these emotions and your past story about this and
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I meant by the mental load.
You're absolutely right, and I can relate to that with my speech therapy versus Airbnb. Me, it was more like the 11 o'clock pings. And like something happens, the check-ins, or we talked about the automatic locks, the Wi-Fi locks versus the battery died. And I'm like, well, it's sort of my fault too, because I do get the messages on my phone and I ignore it, and I'm like, oh, the body died. The battery died. I actually have to go and change it because it's midnight and I can't get in. So that to me was a little bit anxiety producing, like not knowing what could have happened at any time.
100%.
Sometimes I'm away, I'm in Toronto, then I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure my
100%.
handyman or somebody can go and
you were doing this with a kid.
Oh yeah, I've gone to my Airbnbs with my child.
That's a lot. Like I would probably not be, you know what I mean? Like that's a lot.
You know what? Sometimes I go with my kids just to make them feel bad. I'm like, look what you make me do. I gotta come with this 2-year-old.
It's like a strategy.
Don't call me
working
again.
mom.
I know. And they're like,
here.
oh, okay, yeah, and and then they leave you alone. But I have done that. I have actually gone to a property at like 11 p.m. because they didn't know how to turn on the TV. And I got there and it was like the red button on the remote, and I literally pressed it and then that was it. They're like, but it wasn't working earlier. Okay, let me just drive back. But either way, I've learned a lot. So we kind of touch base on like different parts of your life currently. If you had to call this chapter something in your life, what would it be called?
If I'd have to call it something, I like the first word that came to my mouth was like lone wolf. And I'm finding like the last, since I've been in real estate, it's like, yes, you build connections, but you need such a strong, like, I don't have a significant other that I'm doing this with. I don't have a brother, or I envy those people that have like a brother or a significant other. Sometimes I sometimes have those moments because when something's not working on my end, the only person I have to fall back on is myself. So those dark, stormy nights of why the hell am I putting myself through this? You're sitting with yourself. Yeah. But it's interesting because it was also a promise I made to myself back in 2019. I think I was at number 6 partnership that I didn't go through, and it meant that the business I'd been building for the last year and a half was
kibosh,
like gone.
Right.
And that was with like so much success. Like the horses were winning, the students were winning. We were getting more and more students every week. It was like everything was just going up. I couldn't for the life of me understand why. But that's what happened. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And so it was really this notion of like, I'm going to build in a way that it can't be ripped apart so easily. I love it.
I love that. Like you're kind of just building yourself.
Yeah, it's my gift to me. Yes. Like for like it's my gift to myself. It's my gift to myself now. It's my gift to my future self. And there's also another part behind that is super strong in me is I love giving of my time, of my energy, of my resources. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. But because of the relationships I was choosing, because of the business relationships I was in, or the way I was running the businesses I had, I was in a very restrained group of people. And at some point I was like having those conversations with God, call it whatever you want. And I was like, no, I wanna be able to give more. But I can't give more if every time I'm depleting myself, rebuilding in, you know.
Yeah, and you want the right relationship that you know that's gonna sustain a test of time, that they're gonna be there and continue to build with you, and not somebody that's gonna, you know, let's say they leave and then everything falls apart. Right? So I
didn't live that once. I've lived that
multiple times.
Multiples.
Yeah.
So it's in a way, it was kind of stupid and naive in the sense that, you know, I'm you know, this is going to be optimistic and it's going to work and it's going to this. But there were some very key factors in that I wasn't protecting myself enough. I wasn't putting in enough contingencies. I wasn't in a way, I wasn't valuing my own self enough in everything I was doing.
What's the next chapter for you?
J'ai la piqûre. I want to keep going. I want to keep building the real estate portfolio. I want to, like right now, I want to help as many people out as I can when it comes to finance and mindset. I truly believe that when people feel safe and can connect in an honest way, like big things move. And I know that that's something that I've always been able to bring about, that kind of agency for change.
Okay.
You know, somebody, it just, you know, life kind of brings it that way. Like somebody who's stuck on something, they just find their path to me. And
then you kind of help them to the next step. Is that correct?
Yeah.
if somebody wants to find out more about you, about maybe the services that you can provide, how can they reach you?
Social media, my name, I'm pretty sure I'm still the only one with that full name. Monica and Susan.
Is that Instagram?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
TikTok, you're so cool. YouTube.
I'm not sure about that. Getting good help.
When you got TikTok, you're on another level.
Oh my God. So crazy. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure to put it in the description. I'll make sure also put it in the caption so that people can see it, and if they want to reach out to you, because this was an awesome conversation, especially, you know, people that have gone through many different professions. You know, I feel like you can kind of relate to that.
Yeah, there was this, at some point I was like, I want a different, like I want to live life to its fullest, right? Yeah. And I was like, if I can have a different career every 10 years, that would be awesome. And then I listened to a podcast of a girl who had done that, and like big stuff, like lawyer, like big stuff. I was like, yes,
that's amazing.
Why not? I've got a few under my hat. Let's keep going.
You know what, before we end, when I used to be a student in, I think I was between university and high school and university, and I was working as a summer student, and one of the nurses told me that you need to have a new job every 5 years.
Oh yeah,
so,
I've heard this one.
And at the time I was like, well, you know, why? But she's just like, for growth, even if it's like amazing. In nursing. But you need to quit and do something different every 5 years. And that stuck to me. And it's not like I aim for that, but if I look at my path,
you definitely
like sometimes it's like 5 years on the
shedding
dot.
your skin.
Whew, and then I'm a new lizard. Yeah. So, you know, and I think that's a good way of growing, experiencing new adventures, and just like meeting different people, because life is about living, right?
Yeah.
And not just staying.
Yes, 100%. Like, if anything, I have this quote that stuck with me when I was 8 years old, and I just want to live. I want to suck everything I can out of this life.
100%.
Like, there's so many things I want to do and experience, and I've been so blessed to experience so many things till now.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Monica, thank you so much for coming and sharing your stories with the listeners. Again, if you guys want to reach out to Monica, I'll put her contact information in the caption, so please reach out to her. And thanks for watching, and don't forget to live your truth.